Gwen Stefani had gone from suburban garage rocker to major label frontwoman. But the failure of her band No Doubt's first album had left them in the label's doghouse and in jeopardy of losing it all. Then, in 1995, Gwen's brother Eric made a devastating announcement. He was leaving the band to become an animator on The Simpsons.
For a couple of years before Eric left the band, he was really kind of not enjoying himself because there was a lot of other stuff that came along with being in a band. Besides the music, you know, there's a lot of traveling and a lot of business that you got to take care of. So for him, I think it was a healthy choice.
It took Gwen a long time to get used to that because she really looks up to her brother and stuff.
Eric's departure was difficult for Gwen to accept. The man with whom she'd been creatively linked her entire life was leaving to pursue a dream of his own.
Sometimes it's hard to keep on running.
But even the defection of her brother could not have prepared the young singer for what came next. After 7 years as a couple, Tony broke up with Gwen.
I really feel that I'm losing my best friend. I can't believe this could be the end.
It was another crushing blow. But through her heartbreak, Gwen discovered that songwriting could be an outlet for her pain.
When my brother left the band, a lot of the writing responsibility fell into our laps. And also when Tony and I split up, it was like I suddenly had all these things to write about. When I first learned that I could express myself through songs, it was like I turned into a whole nother person. Like I suddenly had found what I could do in my life.
1995's Tragic Kingdom was the product of Gwen's soul-searching. The songs she wrote expressed her sadness and confusion as she and Tony wrestled with their new roles of ex-boyfriend and girlfriend.
They tried their best not to have it affect the rest of us, but it's impossible. The people live on it, and we just had to roll with it the best we could.
I want to see everybody jumping on this part, okay?
While the band struggled to keep it together, the world was discovering No Doubt. The songs that expressed so much pain became the anthems of a generation.
I'm just a girl.
Suddenly, the band from Orange County that couldn't sell a record was on top of the charts.
That was a shock because we were always making the music that was going to be unpopular, and we were always the alternative to the alternative. Then suddenly we became this the headline bubblegum pop band, and we were like, what?
Tragic Kingdom sold millions. And Gwen became an icon for young women around the world.
One, two, three.
Gwen took the old school glamour of Marilyn Monroe and mixed it with punky LA street style and a bindi that was inspired by Tony's mom.
Me being just a dork from Anaheim, California, I never thought I could ever influence anyone.
The song should have been called Just a Dork.
Like it or not, you're somewhat of a sex symbol now.
Yeah,
like it or not.
That was my goal. That was disgusting. I've gotten really good at fooling people. If they only knew.
Can you tell I'm faking it?
It was an overwhelming time for a girl who had always been content to play second fiddle to her brother and her boyfriend. Suddenly, Gwen was getting all the attention at the expense of the rest of the band.
I think the first time I got offered a magazine cover, it was Spin Magazine, as far as a big thing like that. And they just said, well, we only want Gwen, we don't want the rest of you. And that kind of hurt for a few weeks. And funny little things like that would happen.
Can you guys pay attention?
We are.
Come over here and ask us some questions
now.
Being the only woman in a band full of guys also had its challenges.
Slow-mo, dude, slow-mo.
Nudity is always entertaining and funny when it's a male nudity, that is.
I'm just kidding! Oh my God. Though I live like behind the scenes, like I'm a fly on the wall. Like I get to witness what men or boys really are like.
Yeah, what's that? Let's here in New York City.
It's really scary. I would be like, okay, this is my ex-boyfriend, right? So he would be there with these girls that looked exactly like me, like dressed up like me. And then I would walk in like hoping to get a little social, you know, like, oh, I need a little attention socially. And then they would all run up to me and they would be all these like Gwen girls. And then it would be really awkward. And all the girls wanna get with the boys and the boys really like it.
The girls that dress like Gwen are not a turn on to me at all.
Oh, now he's gonna get all the girls like that.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah, but they were sitting on your lap that one time when I walked in. You had two of them.
I don't say no to girls sitting. One time, I don't say no to girls sitting on my lap.
The band managed to keep it together throughout the challenges. Even Gwen and Tony maintained a close relationship, despite any harsh feelings of the past.
Through the whole time we were going out, we were always in the band together, and that was always our passion and like kind of the most important thing, and we wanted that so bad.
Yeah.
So we made it work. You know, I was very dependent on Tony for my happiness, and so it's like now I'm like my own human, and he's.
You found yourself.
I found myself.
Funny thing is, these two, and they won't tell you, but they're like best friends, and when they're home, they hang out and shop together and go to the movies. It's weird. It's a nice relationship. You guys can be so close after all these years.
I think Tony was just starting to get sick of me, right, like on the last interview. And I started getting kind of sad, but he told me that he wasn't, so I felt bad.
I'm not getting sick of you. Gwen, I had bad gas during that last interview. So it was just,
I feel like I'm a little PMS, so I'm sensitive, so try not to hurt my feelings.
gas versus your PMS. I would win, of course. We are more like brother and sister now.
Yeah.
And no, there's no incest.
With her heartbreak over Tony behind her, Gwen was open to new love. Shortly after she and Tony had broken up, No Doubt toured with British grunge band Bush. And Gwen met lead singer Gavin Rossdale for the first time. The pair hit it off and quickly began seeing each other. But the rigors of a busy touring schedule on both their parts meant an on-again, off-again, long-distance relationship.
Well, it's kind of like high school. Like, you know how when you're going out with someone and then you break up and get back together and then it's all drama?
I'm just wondering if you and Gwen are still an item.
Oh, I think, I'm not sure. I think so. I don't know. Yeah, you know. That's a fluid question.
Yep.
Gwen had always dreamed of raising a family as tight-knit as the one she'd grown up with.
It's the original Stefani.
But as the demands on her time grew, Gwen began to doubt that her dream would ever become a reality.
Is there such a thing as a simple kind of life?
No way. That's totally, that was a big ploy.
When we come back, watch as Gwen braves the critics and risks going it alone.
People are going to think I'm going to f*** up the whole No Doubt thing, and I'm scared I'm going to do it as well.
When Born to Be continues.